Hello, everyone. I'm Donna, and I'm so glad to be here with you today to bring you another video review. Today, I will be reviewing a documentary called What You Eat Matters. I would like to start out with a quote from the film's website. Quote, "Half of the population in Western society suffers from being overweight. Cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and cancer are epidemic. Our meat consumption has quintupled over the past 50 years. 65 billion land animals are being slaughtered every year for food consumption. 1/3 of the global grain production is fed to animals for fattening, while 1.8 billion people worldwide suffer from hunger and starvation. Can there really be a solution to all these problems?" It was the search for an answer to this question that led Austrian author and filmmaker Nina Messinger on a journey through Europe, India, and the US to investigate the consequences of our diet. Unquote. This is a documentary that will really give you some things to stop and think about. It starts out like other documentaries with the filmmaker meeting and holding discussions with familiar leading experts in nutrition, medicine, science, and agriculture, and with farmers who share their expert knowledge on a range of related topics. This film is also another one that chronicles stories of people who conquered major illnesses through plant-based eating. One of those great stories was shared by someone very familiar to us, Dr. T. Colin Campbell. He actually shared his wife's story of how she was able to reverse stage 3 melanoma cancer without chemo or surgery just by switching to a plant-based diet. But the film goes beyond the basics. It goes on to address environmental concerns and covers examples of how our present form of agriculture is, as they say, destroying the soil and exploiting the planet. They go into detail about the meat production process and how the way meat is being produced is damaging the soil, water, and air, corrupting drinking water, and accelerating climate change. This film shows us how it's not only human bodies and animals being destroyed by the practices of the meat industry, but our whole environment. This documentary also shows some disturbing images of starvation in other countries that have been linked to the meat industry practices. They point out the fact that starvation does not have to happen. People don't have to be starving around the world. The earth itself produces enough food to go around. But as mentioned in the introduction, only 2% of grain that is produced is being consumed by human beings. 70% of the grain is going to feed animals for meat production, and the other 28% is going elsewhere. 10% of corn is used for human consumption. 70% is used for animal feed. The filmmaker makes an interesting statement. The industries are meeting the hunger of profits, not people. Again, both humans and animals are harmed by this greed. This film shows the horrific practices that take place in slaughterhouses. Other documentaries talk about it. This film shows it, and some of the images can be very disturbing to watch. If you're anything like me, you look away when disturbing images are shown, and that is exactly what I had to do at times. But I understand why the filmmaker felt it necessary to show these types of images to drive home the point and to make a case for the last issue they addressed, and that is the issue of how we view animals. Some animals we choose to keep as pets and would never think about slaughtering and eating them because we were trained to view them differently. Other animals we pretty much view as dumb and useless and pretty much good for nothing except a good steak or pork chop, when in reality, those animals are just as intelligent as the pets we keep in our homes. They have emotions and feelings and a sense of community among one another, just as any other species that has no interest in being slaughtered, cooked, or served as a meal. So that was a very touching point that I had never really given much consideration to. As the film concludes, a call to action is made. The filmmaker is asking both industry and individuals to focus on sustainability and safeguarding our living environment as opposed to focusing on greed or our desire to be carnivores. What You Eat Matters is another eye-opening production that I urge everyone to watch. It's number 29 on the HealThyselfDetroit.org website under the video resources link, and it will definitely give you a lot to consider. Thank you for watching.